What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to talk about the ridiculousness that is O'Shea Duke Jackson assertion that immigrants or Africans are destroying New York City. And he's cranking out these xenophobic videos while masking it behind trying to hold Pan-Africanism accountable. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of getting like old now. I was like, okay, if you're a Pan-African, then the things that you do should be helping Pan-Africanism. Making a bunch of hateful videos, right, disguised as holding black people accountable is not going to work towards that end. Even if you got the best intentions, the strategy and technique is just not working. Because right now, O'Shea, right, who currently is in Uganda, right? He's an African-American from Sacramento, California, who went to Poland, right? And from Poland, he went to Uganda, right? He is currently in a war of words with Africans who left Africa, mostly Africans who left Africa and went to Europe or other places. And he seems to have a thing against West Africans, which is weird because he's most definitely a Nigerian, for real. Like, you can see that shit, right? But it's not making sense why somebody who claims to be a Pan-African will be constantly making gaslighting videos, trying to get Pan-Africans mad, get Africans mad. I mean, he got everybody mad. He got certain FBA members mad because they're like, well, you fled to Uganda. You left America, you know, didn't make anything in America and had to leave to go be successful somewhere else, right? While in Africa, coming down on continental Africans who had to leave to go be successful somewhere else, right? To the point where now there are YouTubers dedicating a good portion of their time talking about O'Shea, right? Now, O'Shea has videos talking about the coons in our community, right? So on some videos, he seems like he's Pan-African, pro-black. And then in other videos, he's definitely anti, black or anti-African or whatever. Plus, he voted for Trump. I mean, right there, like I told you on my other video, any black person who's a Republican who voted for Trump, you have to question their decision-making and their logic, right? Because the things that O'Shea is getting mad at African immigrants are doing, she's talking about how they're not coming back to build their countries and all that stuff, which is absolutely not true. Let's think about it. That's not true, right? You can't just say that and they come back more in droves, sure, but there are a lot of Africans who left Africa, right, to leverage their opportunities or to find opportunity in order to invest back in the continent, right? And because of that, them doing it the wrong way sometimes, they invest and their family screw them over. That happens a lot. That's a big thing, right? African go across seas, make a ton of money, send money home thinking that their parents or their sisters or their friends are gonna do the other side in Africa, and then they get taken advantage of, right? That's a big problem, right? In African diaspora. And it's not just that, and that's not an African thing. That's a global thing. Anybody who leaves their country that's less developed, go to a country that's more developed, become a cog in that machine and send money back, right? And to their family who are still living under the perception of, the lifestyle you live in a place where you don't have much. And then all of a sudden you throw a ridiculous amount of money in their face and say, hey, do something with that. They're gonna lose their mind, just like in America. People get inundated with a ton of money all at once, and all of a sudden they lose their mind. It's because most people are not trained to have that much access to wealth, and they just make these same mistakes. So it just translates into a lot of problems when dealing with money, right? But he's talking about African immigrants ruining New York. I'm like, bro, have you ever been in New York? Like, man, I know California dudes are different, right? Y'all, I've noticed a lot of these California black folks, and I know it ain't all, I know it ain't all, right? So y'all West Coast people forgive me, but if you notice, man, a lot of these anti-black or like these people who do weird xenophobic stuff, a lot of them from that California, from that West Coast, man. Because I'm like, bruh, I'm from D.C., right? Which is like the Maryland is like the contractor government version of New York, right? You got New York, that's the financial center of the world. And then you got D.C., the power center of the world. A lot of people from New York live here. A lot of people from New York work here in New York. Like these two cities are connected via money and power. And I go to New York all the time. Like New York is, you're from D.C., New York, that's up the road, right? Those are your New Yorkers, you know, this is our strip. This is the rich corridor from Atlanta all the way up to New York is the black rich corridors. The blackest, richest, most successful black people on the planet live in that corridor, right? And that corridor is soon to be from Lagos to Morocco too. So on the west coast of Africa, that's gonna be the richest place on the planet, right? But immigrants, bro, I grew up like my best friends from New York, the one I went to war with, right? One of the best black male Marines in the history of the Marine Corps. All right, one of the most successful and honored. He's from Trinidad. He's from New York. Like a lot of my friends are from New York, and they all from different parts of the global black world. Where I go to New York, first of all, that thing he's trying to designate as scamming is not scamming. You know what the scam is? The scam is going into those stores and spending goddamn 10, 20 times more the price for that same product. You see what those Africans are selling on a corner are products from China that they get from China, from the same manufacturing plants that the big stores get. The only difference is the reason why they call it bootleg, because it wasn't sold, it didn't go through the pipeline, right? Didn't go through the pipeline to the big box high-end retail stores so they can be slapped with a ridiculous label, right? So you got counterfeit, you got the real deal, then you got the white label type stuff, right? And you can go to New York, you can get anything. You can get people, we love those people. Like, how you gonna make a video talking about they scamming and terrorizing them? They not scamming and terrorizing the black community. They are the black community. The Africans who are in New York are the black community. And what you talking about? Why do you keep talking about Africans like Africans are a burden on America? There's plenty of space. There's like 3 million of Africans. They're not a burden or nothing. But O'Shea don't say nothing about them white immigrants. He don't got no smoke for none of them. He ain't got no smoke for none of them. What about them Indian ones who be shitting on beaches and shit? Who be disrespecting all black folks no matter what country they go to? They automatically think they better. What are you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? Like you're making this shit. At this point, O'Shea's making the shit up. Now, I don't know if he's decided, he's like, yeah, you know, it's a little low in the season. Ain't too many celebrities no more for me to do this celebrity jump. Revenue done went down. Let me become the heel and be a bad guy. Maybe I can make money that way. Because it seemed like he being a bad guy. It seemed like he turned himself into the bad. I see like when I read the comment sections of everybody talking about O'Shea, when I read O'Shea's comment section, and I read my comment section when I'm talking about O'Shea, is a consensus. Most people believe O'Shea is not a Pan-African and he's not pro-black. And it doesn't matter how many pro-black videos he crank out. When he's cranking out just as many anti-black, anti-unity videos. If your videos create and divide, if your videos is made to stir controversy that's going to get black people pissed off with each other, that makes you an agent of disunity, whether you want to be one or not. Maybe your strategy, O'Shea, is not that good. Maybe you can't be a celebrity junk gossip king, right? And also a Pan-African that's going to be taken seriously, right? Because let's just keep it real. Look at the nature of O'Shea's content, right? That I do watch it, it's junk, celebrity junk, right? It's in the name, right? What makes celebrity junk something that other brands will want to attach themselves with? If you think about it, right? if O'Shea talks about celebrities, right? He makes fun of celebrities, right? He tells us what celebrities doing. This is a very common genre on social media. He does that, right? He does a very good job at it. He crank 400 videos out in one day. He pays a lot of people. He got good quality graphics and all that good stuff, right? So if you pumping out, 4,000 videos a day, right? Great title because you get people to click because you're good at bringing them in stuff. But if you post 1,000 videos of celebrities, right, and your activities denigrate that celebrity, and that celebrity probably has brand deals with the same companies that you trying to get a brand deal while you making fun of that said celebrity who you are tearing down and taking the money away from brand deals. So his type of content is not something that most, like, if that's his brand deals and doing partnerships, nobody's going to connect themselves with somebody who makes his money off talking shit about actors, right? And now we come into a point where actors are not even that goddamn relevant as much as they used to, because now you got social media where a celebrity was just that one person that you knew from the movies or from the song. And a lot of people knew them because they were famous, is in the word. Famous, right? They were celebrated for their celebrity status. Everybody watched their movie, everybody do this. Well, now you got social media that's muddying the waters of what it is to be a celebrity. And you got people who just pop on the goddamn camera, and upload a video, and they're now considered a celebrity. To what levels? There's so many different new levels of what you want to call celebrity nowadays, like with micro celebrity, big, you know what I'm saying? So with the advent of that, you know what I'm saying, we don't have as many of the so-called traditional main celebrities, right? We don't have so much of those, I guess, for him to tap into, right? Or maybe because of the people who he attract. Listen, the people who watch Celebrity Junk are not people who they're not watching C-SPAN, okay? They're not watching they're not watching world news. They're not keeping up with the NASDAQ. They're not looking at their 401k and their investments. They're not doing that shit. All right. People who look at this type of content, they go to McDonald's, they get a burger and fries. They take the bus. They watch cartoons still. I watch cartoons still. Right. They watch all the gossip shows. You know what I'm saying? They know they got a FanDuel account. You know what I'm saying? They doing fantasy football. They waiting for March Madness. These people, they Monday through Friday. They looking for the weekend to go have a good time because that's the only freedom. They done accepted that. These people that are O'Shea's demographic, who watch him, who take, who look at Celebrity Junk as social gospel, where he make his money from, the demographics of those people are not the people who are going to get up, go to Africa, establish themselves in a new business environment, right? Go through all the pain and suffering it takes to do a business. They're not going to do that. They're not that kind of people, right? So sometimes I think, well, even if I make a video, you know what I'm saying, he does have King Ghana, which was supposed to be a contrast where Pan-Africans go, but when you type in O'Shea, all his shit pop up, right? So, his audience is not the people I'm worried about going to Africa anyway, because he's curated FBA, the xenophobic hate group treating the Sheet fanboys, because there is a large group of them on the internet because they got no lives, and they just live vicariously through hating on anybody else who's successful, right? That's what they do, right? And the thing is, I don't have a subscriber base like that. Right, and so I tend not to make a ton of videos, trying to attract those type of people to my channel. But since of late, man, O'Shea and his new strategy of trying to be the heel against Pan-Africanism, and the thing is, he's supposed to be a smart guy. I went to school, medical school. You would think that he knows how to look at a large word and break it down to all its parts and understand the definition of each part of that word and understand why that word means what it means. So it's like when you saying, why would an African leave? Why would an individual African leave Africa and come to America and do this and do that? Well, you got to understand, some of the Africans, especially that one African right now that's currently giving O'Shea a headache, that made a whole YouTube channel to talk about him, right? A person like him, right, this African guy is very proud, black man, right? A little xenophobic, got some xenophobia in him, but it's a result of what he was taught by that white man. You see, a lot of these black Africans who come to America, right, and tout their success, what they don't understand is the only reason they're successful is because of African Americans. Every single non-white European person, including white people who recently immigrated to America, every one of them can owe their success to black people making it so they can have it. I mean, it's the truth, right? So any African in America, including the guy who's currently harassing O'Shea, all his success and everything he's been able to do with his brain, right? Because I think he's a doctor and he does this and does that and stuff like that. Everything he's able to do with his brain, he's allowed to do because the black African Americans fought and died for that, right? And the guy that's harassing O'Shea doesn't believe in racism. It's because he grew up in a place where racism wasn't a thing. Africa, there's no racism. When you grow up in a place where there's no racism, it's hard for you to have the concept of racism. The guy that's giving O'Shea so much problems right now on YouTube, the African guy who talks shit, I hear the things he's saying, but instead of getting offended, see, that's the first level of understanding. You're getting offended about things that they're saying because you're emotionally attached to that thing. You get emotional and you start acting irrational. But the thing is, the dude that is going back and forth with O'Shea right now, this guy doesn't have a elementary school textbook wealth of knowledge of what racism is. He wouldn't know the first thing about microaggressions and racism. He doesn't know he's got over racism. First of all, as of right now, for this guy, the African dude I'm talking about, for him to say that racism doesn't exist, he's actively remaining ignorant. I have to say that because at this point, if you can possibly say that out your mouth, you're either a terrible student, right, in life, or you're purposely trying to remain ignorant for the sake of your own personal argument, right, and ideology, right? But a lot of Africans, when they come over here, the oppression and the pain that they feel is more of a tribal, a nation, or national, ethno-nationalism. They don't have racism. The racism that affects them is so above the clouds, right, that they don't associate that, right? So that's why they don't have a problem with white people, because it ain't white people who's hurting them when they was in Africa. That's why they schmooze to white. They think they're in competition with African Americans, and they are. When you come to another country, you are in competition. When you especially if you get in fields that they're into, right? But the thing is, this guy speaks and he talks about African Americans as if, and this is the thing that African Americans need to understand, they're just another African that they're competing with, not needing any special reverence or understanding on any of that shit. Like, you just another African, I compete with you just like if I was on a continent, and you ain't getting no special treatment. Why you whining, right? Because from their perspective, they need to make it to America to make the big bucks. But they don't know anything about the recurring billing cycle. A lot of these Africans get stuck in the reoccurring billing cycle of America and they can't go home. They trapped. Once you get caught up in this shit, once you got them monthly bills kicking in, you fucking screwed, right? It's hard to be flying back and forth and investing in your country when 90% of your money is going towards your bills, your utilities. So O'Shea talking about why they not coming back home. Well, he should know that, right? A thinking man should know the debt trap of America when they land here. O'Shea should know what it is to leverage your ability. You leveraged yourself and went to Poland, right? You couldn't make it in America for whatever reason. You had to leave the country, right? FBA, who don't like you, would say you a flea. You fled the country to Poland, the white man's country. That's some people are saying, right? And then you went, apparently some white dude, probably a colonizer, as far as anybody else is concerned, pointing you out to Uganda out of all countries, which is weird, right? That's why you're the only one there for the most part, right? And you set yourself up in Uganda, and because of the low cost of living and your US-based YouTube ad revenue, you living it up pretty large. That's why, despite the tons and tons of videos that O'Shea is currently making it so Africans don't want to come to Africa, because I'm looking at the comments, man, I'm reading them. They're praising O'Shea for warning African Americans, FBA, because that's who listen to him, about going to Africa, right? He is making it so African Americans are afraid and scared of Africans, that they think that all Africa is a scam. The guy, Kenya, Uganda, and a few other countries. Africa is a continent with 55 other countries with different people, different everything. But, you know, he's chucking up all of Africa and labeling all of the massive continent that represents most of humanity on the planet. You know, he's chucking them all up to scams because he has been scammed multiple times himself personally, as he's admitted. So this recent fury of his xenophobia has come from the personal feelings he has towards how he's been treated, you know, since being in Uganda. But everything he's ever said about how he got scammed is how you can get scammed in America. You can get scammed anywhere like that. Doing business in general, the whole time you're trying not to get scammed. Yeah, like the literal whole time you do business, you're trying not to get scammed. That's the nature of business, right? It's a beast, right? So the things he complaining about is what any business person has to go through on a daily basis, and you don't complain about it because it's just normal for business with any group of people ever, anywhere. But yeah, man, O'Shea bullshit, man, with that New York. Like New York, we are literally a country of immigrants. The first criminal illegal immigrants were white Europeans, and they still doing all the shit that justify why we shouldn't have immigration. As a matter of fact, if we're gonna freaking kick people out the country, it should be white folk. But O'Shea is concentrating on black folk as if we are a special problem, which in fact we are not. And the fact that he brought up New York, it's like, come on, bro, you stretching. You stretching way too hard with the New York shit. New York, bro, everybody in New York's a goddamn immigrant. What are you talking about? Criminality? Selling goddamn purses made out of the same Chinese factories for goddamn 10%, for pennies on the dollar is hurting the black community. You crazy? You know how many African Americans go directly to that place to go buy all kinds of goods, all kinds of product? People look forward to that shit. They bring a service and value to the community, right? And it's African Americans out there hawking that shit too, getting to connect because the Africans are giving them they connect they got in Africa to be hawking some of that stuff, some of that oil that we like to wear, some of that shea butter, some of that cocoa butter, you know, some of the music that we don't get access to. You know, they hawking some of the shoes and the purses and the bags and the pants, all the stuff that when you walk into one of these white stores, they ain't no goddamn price on the tag because they done already the shit's a couple $1,000s for a pair of denim jeans that cost 35 cents to make, right? But you can get them same denim jeans that cost $1,000 on the street by that illegal African. You can get that shit for $200. So if that's dangerous, then keep the danger going. I want problems always. But yeah, man. Oh yeah, yo. I don't know. I mean, YouTube has been rough. I ain't gonna lie. Last couple months, YouTube, and they've been switching things around, you know, because YouTube money is not guaranteed, right? So you really shouldn't stake anything on like longevity of this YouTube thing. You know, things have been hard, so people got to switch up their algorithm and try to provoke people to watch their videos, man. I think that's what O'Shea doing, man. Because it don't make sense. You can't call yourself a Pan-African, but then all of your actual actions, because Pan-Africanism is an action, not a xenophobic hate club like FBA. If your actions are anti-Pan-African, and you make more content dividing the community, talking trash about the community, belittling the community, right? By continuously throwing in our faces the problems that we obviously have without having the same equal amount of conversations about what it is we need to do, and you as a leader with a platform, what you suggest we should do in a way that's palatable towards, you know, people's ears so they can hear you and not be offended by every other word that come out your mouth. Because I ain't never seen a person in Uganda, right? In Uganda, African American in Uganda, getting cussed out by the African Americans because he fled America, went to Uganda. Getting cussed out by all the West Africans because he in East Africa talking shit about West Africans. Getting cussed out by East Africans because he's in East Africa talking shit about East Africa. Like who do you want to like you or listen to you or take your word as bond? You gotta have somebody gotta like you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a big enough group of people to like you and to sit there and listen to a lot of the truth that you say, O'Shea, right? And take it to heart, because the thing is, you saying the same thing I'm saying, as far as, yeah, Africa's hard, difficult, it's not a fairy tale, blah, blah, blah. But the way you deliver it and the way I deliver it makes it so when people listen to me and they cuss you out, all right? So I believe that, because I know people like, O'Shea got one of them personalities, right? He got one of them personalities that you can tell, you know, he may be hard to get along with certain personalities or whatnot, you know, but he may have good intentions. I think he has good intentions, even though his delivery, right, and his need for money has superseded some of those good decisions, or his, well-meaning or whatnot. But I think he need to either come up with a different strategy, or maybe he might have to get on a plane and go back to Sacramento, California, all right, where it's so great, and show us that he can come to America and kill it the way he said he can. So yeah, anyway. Y'all, when it come to Pan-Africanism, man, do not listen to O'Shea. He gaslighting you, man. He gaslight you for them views. You gotta get that money, you gotta get that revenue up. All right, that's what we gotta do. Don't listen to him, man. He's just trying to piss people off, man. His delivery is toxic, as evidence on the internet will show you. Don't pay him no mind when it comes to that crap, man, because this is the view grift. He grifting for the views right now. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Ain't nobody trying to argue with you all damn day, bro. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.